Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to answer your questions about packaged meats, wheat berries, clean meats, and fasting from sugar. Yes, we're going to cover the dinner table tonight. Hi, I'm Annette Reeder from the BiblicalNutritionist.com, and it is always my joy to serve you God's recipe for excellent health. Be sure and hit the like button and the subscribe, and that tells me I'm giving you the information that you need to be strong in your health, and also so that just in case you're curious about God's love for you, because it's all written on the way He designed your body and the way He designed the foods to work in your body. Let's get started. Question number 1 is this. What is your advice on packaged meats such as ground beef and chicken breast? I know these are classified as clean, but I'm not sure the processes by which they're packaged. And this was submitted by Luke Paoletti. Luke, I hope I pronounced your name right. This is a good question because I too have to go into the store, look at the packaging, and decide, does this look like a meat that I want to consume? So when I go to the grocery store, I'm looking for a couple of things. I'm looking for the date on the package, the expiration date. But I'm also looking for, where did the meat come from? And I'll tell you, there are times I'm in a quandary standing there in the grocery store because it says fresh ground beef, but yet it's from New Zealand. New Zealand. I wonder, how can that be? But yet, when you look at the packaging has greatly improved. So we used to get our meats in almost like a saran wrap package where you could pick it up out of the case and it could actually be dripping blood on you. Well, we've come a long way from that, and now all of the meats are in a vacuum pack, and that actually preserves the meat longer. Still not 100% crazy about fresh meat from New Zealand, and I'm not saying anything against New Zealand because I know we have some New Zealand followers. I'm just talking about the distance. I would rather get meat from a farmer who's local and it's in the freezer. That way I know it's perfectly, it's been processed correctly. Now also with chicken breast, you only want to buy it if it's in a good vacuum seal pack, which they all are now, but you don't want it seasoned. So you do not want to be buying it. You've got the chicken breast right here, and next to it is, oh, this one's already got the herbs on it and the garlic, and it's already flavored, ready to go on the grill. No. Put that aside. I just want you to buy fresh meat. Now, when you open up any meat, it should not have an odor. No, it should not have an odor. And the meat should still be bright red if it's beef. Now, there's a lot that's been done to our food to make it look bright red when it may not be, I really hope you caught one of my previous videos. Actually, it was the 15 foods from Walmart. And at the end of that video, I shared my one secret for shopping. Go watch that video because that one secret will get you through actually almost every question we have tonight because it's really important. So go catch that. That's just a little trailer for you. I want you to go watch that video because it's really good. And so yeah, even if a meat is clean, I want to know, where did it come from? And there are some foreign countries that I will not buy meat from. I'm not going to identify which ones they are because I don't want to offend any of our followers. But there are some countries I don't buy meat from. There are some places in America I don't buy meat from either. I really prefer my farmer friends, but if I do buy from the store, then I'm looking for certain words on the package. So I'm looking for the date. I'm looking for where it was processed, where it was raised, how it was raised, and was anything added to the package. So that's what I'm looking for. I hope this helps. Yes, even though it's clean, there's still a lot of science and discovery that has to happen in the grocery store. All right, Luke, I hope that helps you with your answer. Number 2, I want to be able to fast specifically from sugar, but I'm so nervous of withdrawal symptoms. I have 3 little ones and I don't want my moodiness to affect them. And this was sent in by Adriana Lopez. Adriana, that's a very honest question. And I applaud you for asking because it means you desire to be the best mom possible. And I just want to say thank you and just I just really, if you're here, I would just hug you for asking the question, because it's a really good question. And with you being able to fast from sugar, you're going to teach your little ones healthier foods, and you're going to become a better mom. Sugar, you probably already know all the harmful side effects of sugar. So getting away from it is going to greatly benefit you mentally, emotionally, physically, and long term. But first of all, we got to get away from it. And that's what your question is about. So let's talk about it. So in order to fast from sugar, to go cold turkey is very possible. I have done it and it works. But it's difficult for some people more so than others. It depends on your dependency on the sugar. So to fast from sugar, I would just start weaning off. Now, what I mean by that is stop eating your cakes and your cookies and, if they're store-bought. So first of all, eliminate all store-bought added sugars, all right? Second of all, then you start eliminating any homemade added sugars. So don't even make some healthy cookies, or, if you're adding a sugar don't even tell me, but Annette, it's organic, it's raw. Sugar. Sucanat, yeah, it's sugar, okay? Even honey, if you're trying to fast from sugar, then I would suggest eliminating honey. So do it in a stair-step process. And the stair steps would take maybe 2 to 3 days. 2 to 3 days, work through the process, going from processed foods, kicking them out. Homemade foods, kicking them out. Honey, kicking that out. So let me just share also, as you're fasting from sugar, you need to be increasing your fiber. Yes, you need to be increasing your fiber. As you create a satiety level in your digestive tract, you'll be less inclined to crave the sugar. Now, sugar just creates its own cravings because you could have a candida issue going on. You could have a lot of bad bacteria happening, and bad bacteria crave sugar, like eat more sugar, eat more sugar. Candida is like, give me my sugar. And as you are eliminating the sugars, you're also starving out the bad bacteria, and they don't go quietly, not at all. So stick with this. It's a stair-step approach. Increase, so you're taking steps away from the sugar, you're taking steps toward more fiber. You can keep fruit in your diet, but eventually you want to work down to just 2 fruits a day. Okay, because I'm anticipating some other things happening, and I'm anticipating some issues you may have with your health. So I'm going to try and get you down to just 2 fruits a day. That's not true for everyone, but I'm thinking, Adriana, that might be good for you. I hope this has been helpful. I can't wait to read more posts from you, and I hope you're in our Biblical Nutrition Academy Facebook group so we can chat some more, so I can see your results. It's going to be an amazing journey, and yes, you're going to have struggles. In this life, you will struggle. It's guaranteed. It's in Scripture. But always know that God has come. He sent His Son to help us overcome the world. And sugar addiction is one of these things we have to overcome. We have to physically walk through that. Okay? Because it's worth it, because you have little ones. So Adriana, I just really wish you the best in this, and I really am serious. I want to see you in our Facebook group so we can chat some more and I can read about your success. Question number 3, what meats should we not eat per the Bible and for our health? Well, I'm not going to go through the whole list, but basically in Leviticus 11 and in Deuteronomy and several other chapters in the Bible, it talks about the meats to eat and what not to eat. I personally do follow that. So I only eat clean meats. I don't eat pork, but I'm going to tell you, I grew up on pork butts and catfish and shrimp, those 3 foods. So pork were designed to be cleaner uppers of the land. Catfish were designed to be cleaner uppers of the rivers. Shrimp were designed to be cleaner uppers of the ocean. You hear a pattern there. Okay, but cows were not. Chicken, well, we had a little discussion about chickens in our treasures class this week. Yeah, sometimes they do eat bugs and they are cleaner uppers. But here's the thing. If God called something clean, it's for our good. If He called something unclean, it's not for our good. It doesn't matter how clean you make that pig, it's still a pig. A pig is a pig is a pig. It doesn't matter how cute they are, it's still a pig. They were created to clean up. We don't eat vultures. We don't eat eagles because they're birds of prey. So just think about this. And you know what you want to say? I've had several people in my classes who say, well, what's the study that proves that pigs are bad for you? Well, there are a few studies out there, but most of the time, you got to understand, a study is only done to prove something that they want to prove. No one's going to fund a pig study. Oh, pigs cause inflammation. That's not going to happen. There are pig farmers that are not going to like that kind of study to be promoted. It would have to be another reason, a spin to it, to create a benefit for someone before that study would be done. But if God called something unclean, it wasn't just for the Israelites back then. It's still unclean. He didn't change that. I know some of you are going to say, what about the sheet? And what about this? And what about that? Go back and read the scriptures again. Read my Treasures of Healthy Living Bible study. And we'll talk more about this, I'm sure. Next question. Oh, that was submitted by JM. So JM, thank you for submitting that. Last question is submitted by Just Me. That's a cute title, Just Me. So Just Me says, what type of wheat berries do you use in bread making? Great question. I love to end on this one because it's fun. So wheat berries, I have in my storage, I have hard red, hard white, I have spelt, I have kamut, I have amaranth. Let's see, I have another one too, millet. I use all of that in my bread. Not all at one time. Sometimes I do. I have rye and oats too. All of those can be used in bread. Typically I have the base. If I'm just making a quick bread, it's just going to be hard red. But if I want to get creative, I'll throw in a cup of freshly milled oat flour, which is just taking my rolled oats or my steel cut oats and putting them in the blender and making a flour. Throw a cup of that into your bread. It just makes it more tender, just more of a creamy texture, kind of what we're used to from store-bought bread. So I'll add some oat flour in. Sometimes if I want to make a really delicious bread, I'll make it half spelt and half kamut. Now your ratios are not that specific, but you will require more flour than you will if you're using hard white or hard red, just because they absorb more water. So my spelt kamut flours bread, that's like the best tasting. Rye bread is good, but typically it's not 100% rye. I will mix it with some other grains, just kind of for a more blended flavor and texture. So I'm using a lot. Millet, I will just throw in, just for a little crunchy, nuggets in the bread. And it's just kind of fun because people are like, oh, there's something crunchy in here. But they cannot really define the flavor because millet doesn't have a lot of flavor, but it has a good burst of nutrition. Some people don't realize that millet is mostly sold as bird seed, but we should be putting it in our bread. So take it from the birds, put it in your bread, and enjoy the benefits. And amaranth is more of an additional ingredient versus a stable, foundational grain for the bread. Well, Just Me, thank you for asking that question. I enjoyed answering it. I look forward to answering more questions every week here on YouTube. You can also hear these questions and answers on my podcast, Biblical Nutrition Academy. And on my podcast, I actually do giveaways every week for this Q&A session. So make sure you check that out. The podcast is Biblical Nutrition Academy. Now, if you haven't already gone to my website, thebiblicalnutritionist.com, that's where you download and sign up for my course. It's free, 7 Steps to Amazing Biblical Health and 3 Lies That Prevent It. So I really want to see you there because then you get invited into our private Facebook group where I answer even more questions from you. It's been a joy to serve you, God's recipe for excellent health. I am Annette Reeder, the Biblical Nutritionist, and hey, thanks for asking your questions. And I love answering them. And until next time.